crazy, a storm on the horizon, the pressure is low. Gotta get moving, put on a show. The news is all buzzing, state of alert, but we've got a plan, we're ready to work. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. See a little fire or a rising flood, we're a well-oiled machine, we're running in the mud. From the city hall meetings to the rescue teams, turning worst case scenarios into hopeful dreams. We're training the people, we're stocking the gear, we're the team you can count on when trouble is near. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. It's more than a job, it's a calling, you see. Prepared for the present and what's yet to be. Every second counts, we're ready to react for our communities. We're making an impact. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. Yeah, we're picking you up, we're ready to go. EMA, let's get this show on the road.
Should we get this show on the road, guys? I think we should. Let's do this thing right now. My name's Ron Tyler. I'm with the Emergency Management Associates. We're coming on the air right now for you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina, guys. We're here on the air for you today. We're always on the air, it seems like. Almost always on the air. Now, guys, we have some things we need to talk about today. The first thing I want to talk about is Iran, okay? Today was the final day of possible talks with Iran, okay? After that, President Trump said he would probably take some kind of action. Today was a final day of talks between the United States and Iran to get Iran to stop building nuclear materials. Iran wanted to establish some kind of uranium enrichment so it could build BOMBS. Okay? They said, oh, we only want the enriched uranium to heat our homes and provide electricity for our country. No, that's not the case. They don't have they don't need the kind of uranium that can make BOMBS, but that's what they've been working on. Now, again, we knocked out their capabilities last summer, but they did it again. They did it again. President Trump has lashed out at reports from his top military advisors that he has had caution urged against strikes against Iran, saying General Kane believes it would be easily won. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Air Force General Dan Kane, has warned that strikes against Iran can be risky, potentially drawing the United States into a prolonged conflict, and also that the possibility of an attack against Iran could deplete our munitions. Okay? Now, why is that important? Last year, we had a munitions factory in Tennessee that blew up out of nowhere. One night, in the middle of the night, it just blew. Now, that manufacturing facility made munitions for the military. Now, we don't know exactly what they were making there. We don't have any information exactly what they were making there, but they were making munitions. It's clear. But again, General Dan Kane, okay, the Kane of Canes, as President Trump put him, he said the potential conflict with Iran that we're being drawn into could be a prolonged conflict and possibly put the United States in need of munitions. General Kane is reportedly cautioned that military action could have repercussions across the entire region, potentially including retaliatory strikes against Israel and other U.S. facilities throughout the region. Okay? Retaliatory strikes by Iran, possibly a larger conflict that could require more U.S. forces on the ground. In a lengthy post, President Trump described the reports as fake news. General Kane, like all of us, would like not to see a war, but if a decision is made on going against Iran at a military level, it is his opinion that will be easily won. He has not spoken of not doing Iran or even the fake limited strikes that I've been reading about. He knows only one thing: how to win. And if he's told to do so, he will be leading the pack. The United States military has been reinforcing its forces in the region in recent weeks. One of the largest buildup in decades to pressure Iran to curb its nuclear program. Multiple outlets, including Axios and the Washington Post, have reported that General Kane and other Pentagon officials have raised serious concerns in internal meetings about the risk of a U.S. military operation against Iran, citing several sources familiar with the discussions, not destruction, but discussions. Axios' first report of the news said that Kane was one of the several people within Trump's inner circle who are urging the president to proceed cautiously. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, who is President Trump's son-in-law, have been scheduled to meet with Iranian negotiators in Geneva, the last in a series of talks between the two sides today, by midnight today. Trump has warned that he's considering a limited military strike on Iran. On February 19th, this is the 26th, 7 days ago, Trump said that the world would find out over the next probably 10 days whether the U.S. would reach a deal with Iran or take military action. We have to make a meaningful deal, otherwise things will happen. Even as negotiations continue to take place, U.S. forces have been conducting a massive military buildup in the region, including large numbers of refueling and heavy lift aircraft, and considerable naval firepower. Now, we do know that the Gerald R. Ford, the largest airfield on water, largest aircraft carrier in the U.S. fleet, is on its way into the Mediterranean as we speak, with its contingent of support ships, missile carriers, destroyers, and such. Okay? Earlier this week, Witkoff told Fox News that Trump was questioning why Iran had not yet capitulated in the face of Washington's military buildup. We have confirmed that the USS Gerald R. Ford, the world's largest warship, passed through the Strait of Gibraltar towards the Mediterranean on Friday. Ship tracking data also confirmed that the USS Mahan, one of the destroyers in the warship strike force, passed through the strait. The Gerald R. Ford has briefly broadcast its location off of Morocco's Atlantic coast yesterday. It's believed to be traveling on course to the Middle East, where another USS aircraft carrier, the USS Abraham Lincoln, was tracked earlier this week. Now, Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, crushed the protests that swept across his country last month, but only by unleashing the bloodiest crackdown of his nearly 4 decades in power. Now, with the American flotilla nearby, the 86-year-old Khamenei is trying to avert a potential U.S. attack. He has warned that if the U.S. President Donald Trump strikes, a regional war will ensue. What is that? What does that encompass? Let me briefly tell you what came out yesterday. China's president, Xi Jinping, has said that China has brought in missiles and intelligence services to Iran. So Iran, one, could track U.S. buildup in the region, and also that they could put up drones and missiles on those drones and missiles from the ground that would attack U.S. facilities and armor in the region. So Xi Jinping has gotten involved. He's gotten involved. Now, what could happen? What could happen? President Trump could attack as late as tonight. If the talks with Iran don't come up something by midnight tonight, President Trump could attack any time after that. Some in Iran and among the largest Iranian diaspora have expressed hopes that the United States would use military force to bring down Khamenei. But that would require potentially an enormous military operation, likely far from anything we've ever seen from just airstrikes like we had last June. There are also strong voices, even among Khamenei opponents, against foreign intervention toppling the theocracy. And the scenario of eliminate Khamenei only brings to the foreground the question that has hung over his rule as he grows older. Who or what would come after him? Khamenei has ruled for 4 decades. He's very old. What would happen if he passes away? Now, something just happened in the heart of Tehran. The Iranian regime is not wanting anybody to know about this. Armed fighters from the opposition have just stormed the security perimeters of the Supreme Leader Khamenei's personal headquarters, breaching fortified walls, defended by 8,000 elite Revolutionary Guard soldiers. It gets even more explosive because reports have it that have been confirmed that President Trump has been presented with assassination plans targeting Khamenei, meaning regime decapitation is officially on the table. Khamenei is reportedly hiding in a secret bunker. His own Islamic Revolutionary Guard are on their heels, and civilians in the capital are sheltering opposition forces from regime death squads. Now, other sources all over YouTube have shown proof that the Iranian regime is not just weakening. It appears to be collapsing, and a coup may now be inevitable. But hey, gang, guess what? It might very well happen. this might very well happen. I'm not saying it will, but it might very well happen. Now, as of Tuesday evening after the State of the Union, President Trump celebrated a win, a huge win. Okay? His people got a huge lift after his State of the Union. He went from a 54% approval rating to a 64% approval rating and climbing. Celebration. President Trump was celebrating, and rightly so. But this is just another day in the Trump's golden age that we all made possible in November 2024. Now, if you want a front row seat, we've got it. Okay? I want to ask you a question. How would you continue to change the world in ways you'd never even imagined? How could any one of you and me think of continuing to change the world as we've seen it? How could we do it? Let's think about it. Let's think about this. How would each of us change the world as we've seen it? We are now getting the word that armed fighters from the People's Mujahideen Organization of Iran, better known as the MEK, civilian forces, have launched coordinated military-style attacks, assaults on the Motari Khomeini complex in downtown Tehran. That's the personal headquarters of Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khomeini. Now, this was not just a lone wolf attack or even a symbolic protest. The opposition leaders had protests prior to this last month, and Khomeini tried to decapitate them. One of the largest assassination attempts of any public in a world. But there's so much opposition against the Ayatollah this time, he may not survive. Okay? Maybe President Trump will not have to use the military this time because the people within his own country want him out of there. Okay? Now, we may have a military operation or we may not. Multiple strike teams hitting different locations simultaneously right now within the Iranian country. Okay? This is the reports that we're getting. People within Tehran itself, Khomeini's residents within the Tehran city, saying that the Guardian Council, the Assembly of Experts, the Intelligence Minister's Office, the Iranian Judiciary, the Supreme National Security Council, even the office and residence of Khomeini's son, who could be his designated successor, were all targeted by the opposition forces in what appears to be a very huge operation designed to decapitate Iran's entire power structure. Now, here's what makes this assault historically unprecedented. The Motari complex is, to put it mildly, a fortress, a huge fortress. The entire perimeter is surrounded by prefabricated reinforced concrete walls. Figure that out. Prefabricated reinforced concrete walls that are more than 4 meters high. 4 meters high. 12-foot high. With topped off with metal anti-drone and anti-projectile barriers within the entire complex. And also within the entire complex, each building has its own enclosed perimeter walls, creating layers and layers within layers of defense. Nearly 8,000 personnel from various military and intelligence units guard the compound. Now that's more security forces than what protects President Trump, Britain's Prime Minister, and the French President combined. These Iranian civilian forces broke through both perimeters. They reached positions within direct assault range of Khamenei's people, sustained combat for over 12 hours, and 150 fighters penetrated the second perimeter. All escaped safely to their bases by midnight. And we need to think about what that means. If 8,000 elite guards, if 8,000 elite Khomeini guards cannot stop opposition forces from reaching the supreme leader's doorstep, either there's massive incompetence or there is internal sabotage. Both of those options spell doom for this regime. Now, we don't have anything else about any confirmed reports of casualties on either side. This is breaking news. And we're getting reports that citizens in Tehran have in many cases assisted and provided shelter to the civilian forces, the civilian fighters on the ground, especially the wounded. Civilians have reportedly been hiding opposition leaders from the Revolutionary Guard death squads. And that's what we're seeing here. This is the internal side of the classic strategic dual track and squeeze. The presidential Trump's administration is clamping on the Iranian regime right now. So what we're seeing is this. The Iranian regime, this theocratized regime within Iran, getting squeezed by pressure from both inside and outside the internally and external walls. So from the inside, the Islamic Republic is facing its worst single domestic crisis since coming to power in 1979. Remember that? When the Revolutionary Guard kidnapped U.S. citizens from our own embassy in Tehran. The previous Ayatollah was part of that. Now, the present Ayatollah Khomeini has been continuing this for 40 years since he's been in power. Now, we may not have to attack Iran militarily yet. But again, this remains a possibility probably sometime in the next 24 to 48 hours. I think we're going to need to have to stand by and see what happens. But right now, that's what we're seeing. Right now, that's exactly what we're seeing. Does anybody have any questions for me in regards to what's going on? Does anybody have any questions for me? Now, if you don't have any questions, I'm going to go on here. I want to talk about a volcano in the Philippines that is presently erupting. And then I'm going to talk about the volcanoes in the Pacific Northwest. Okay? That's where we're going with this. Okay? First, the volcano over in the Philippines. This volcano has been erupting off and on for quite some time. Okay? Today it is erupting. We've got that confirmed. Now, where's it going? Where's it going? Let's talk about this. This is Canlaon volcano. Canlaon volcano. This erupted last night. Canlaon volcano erupted last night. Huge eruption up to 2,400 meters high, 7,000 feet high. Incredible it seems. Really is. Huge eruption. But as you can see, there's a lot to this. This is huge. This is really huge. The Philippine Canlaon volcano made an explosive eruption at about 7:04 p.m. on Thursday. Okay, 7:04 p.m. was early this morning in the United States. The explosive eruption of the volcano is located on Negros Island in the central Philippines. The eruption itself, even though it's a 7,000 plus foot eruption, lasted approximately 2 minutes. Only 2 minutes. It was recorded by seismic and infrasound instruments around the volcano. Incandescent ballistic fragments, huge volcanic balls, magma or lava balls ejected from the volcano. These pyroclastic density currents, what they call PDCs, descended down the eastern and southeastern upper slopes, reaching up to 2 kilometers from the summit, 1 mile from the summit of the volcano. Continuous ash emissions follow the explosive phase, and this is still ongoing. The ash emissions are still ongoing. This marks the latest in a series of episodic eruptive episodes in this area. Following a similar moderately explosive eruption exactly 1 week earlier on February 19th. The Philippine agency is actively assessing and monitoring the perimeter of the volcano. Now, this is all the information we have about this eruption, but this is ongoing, okay? This is ongoing. There are emissions going from the volcano, ash emissions and gas emissions from Canlaon volcano. As more information comes in, we'll get it to you. I promise we'll continue following this for you. It's not ending at all. There are 40 other volcanoes around the world that are also erupting. 40 other volcanoes are also erupting at this time. From the Philippines, over in Indonesia, even over in Africa, the Antarctic region, literally all over the world. They're presently erupting. They've been erupting for quite some time. Rich Quake says he's been monitoring Mayon volcano also in the Philippines. It's also been erupting. Now the entire Pacific Ring, what they call the Ring of Fire, has been erupting. It's literally on fire. That's why they call it the Pacific Ring of Fire. Okay, let me put up the map here. I want to show you what's actually going on here. Let me take down our webcam. Let's take down our banner as well. That way you can see what's going on here. So far, I've got the northern part of the Pacific Ring of Fire. There, you see it right there. The Pacific Ring of Fire. Okay? There's all kinds of activity all around the Pacific Ring of Fire. All kinds of activity. It's ongoing. It's going to be going on for quite some time. Not going to end. It's not going to end at all. Sorry about that. Hold on a second. Okay, here you see the eastern part of, or western part of South America. Volcanoes all over Chile, Argentina, Peru, Ecuador, and also in southern Colombia. Volcanoes all over the western part of South America. Volcanoes over in Central America as well. Most of those volcanoes are either in Costa Rica, Guatemala, or over here in southern Mexico. Popocatépetl, just southeast of Mexico City. That's also been erupting. Volcanoes literally all over the world. As we showed you, there's volcanic activity over in the Big Island of Hawaii, Kilauea volcano. Now, I don't know why this map is being so stupid and stubborn here. Usually, I don't have any hard time at all manipulating this map. We have volcanoes over in Tonga area. We have volcanoes down here in New Zealand here. We have an earthquake right here. This is south of Tonga. This near Hohuma, Tonga. 5.2 large earthquake here. Okay. I don't know why this is doing this here. Let me see if I can approach this from a different side here. Now we're looking at the Indian Ocean here. Okay. Just coming back here. This is the Pacific. Down here in Indonesia, we have a ton of volcanoes. All kinds of volcanoes here. They're still erupting. Over in Italy, over here in Italy, we have Stromboli and Mount Etna over here, just over here off the toe of the boot of Italy here. Stromboli and Mount Etna here. They're also erupting. Okay. But like I said, we have a lot of volcanoes over here in Indonesia. They're going. Over here in Japan. South of Japan, we have a volcano right here in the Ryukyu Islands here. Okay. This volcano has been erupting off and on for years now. Lots of years. Okay. Over in central Japan, west central Japan, we have Sakurajima volcano here. It's also been erupting lately. Okay. Going up here to Russian Kamchatka Island. Many volcanoes erupting here as well. All over the place. Literally everywhere. These are going to continue to erupt ongoing. Literally ongoing. 2 volcanoes in the Philippines. 2 volcanoes over here in the Philippines. Central Philippines. Okay. Mayon and Paleon volcanoes here in central Philippines. Erupting. Ongoing. Now, I'm only going to spend some time here on the USGS map for just a very short time. USGS is only showing one earthquake in Indonesia. 42 earthquakes, I believe, are still on the EMSC map, the European map. USGS is showing one earthquake here. This is in Ambon, Indonesia. Ambon, Indonesia here. Okay. This is in the Banda Sea here. A 4.4 earthquake. All kinds of 4.0 to 4.9 earthquakes are going on here in Indonesia, as well as 3.0 to 3.9, 2.5 to 2.9 earthquakes happening here in Indonesia. And yet USGS is not showing any of those but the one. That's insane. Over here around Mindanao, Philippines here, the largest island in the southern Philippines here. Earthquakes over here on the south side of the bay here. Earthquakes have been happening here since we had a 7.0 earthquake here several weeks ago. All the earthquakes happening here are aftershocks of that huge earthquake. Earthquakes have been happening over here on the eastern shores of Mindanao, Philippines. 2.5, 2.7, 3.5, 3.7, even 4.5 earthquakes here on the eastern side of Mindanao, Philippines. We have earthquakes here in the central Philippines. USGS is still not showing those. And forbid. Over here northeast of Taiwan, in the Ryukyu Islands of Japan, we have another earthquake here. A 4.2 earthquake here near Harare, Japan. 4.9, 5.0 large earthquake here. 6.2 kilometers, or 6.2 miles, 10 kilometers deep. Crazy. Crazy. USGS is not showing any earthquakes in Japan. They are wrong. There are earthquakes there. Northeast of Hokkaido, Japan, here in the Russian Kuril Islands region, we have this earthquake on the fault zone. This is another 5.0 earthquake. 6.2 miles, 10 kilometers deep. Then over here in the Sea of Okhotsk, another earthquake. This is the 4.0 moderate earthquake here. This is a big, moderately deep quake. This earthquake is 246 miles deep. 246 miles deep. Let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at this. Okay? Let's turn it into kilometers. Guys, this is actually 480 kilometers deep. Moderately deep earthquake. If it got up to 500, 550, 600, 650, 700 kilometers deep, this would be a massively deep earthquake. It's not. Moderately deep earthquake. Now, I don't think it's going to cause any problems such as the birth of a larger shallower quake. Don't think that's going to happen in this case. Not here in the Sea of Okhotsk. But this only brings to bear that we've had earthquakes of this size before. This is only 4.0. We've also seen 5.0, 5.2, even upwards of 5.8 earthquakes here in the Sea of Okhotsk in the past several months. We're going to keep an eye on this as well. We need to. We need to. Going further up north, south of the Russian Kamchatka Peninsula here, we have another large 5.1 earthquake. This is also 41 kilometers deep. Shallow quake. Off the southeast coast of Kamchatka Peninsula. We have a swarm of earthquakes here. Let's look at this. This is another 5 points earthquake. 5 points earthquake. This is a 5.7. This is the instigator of this swarm. 5.7 large earthquake, very large earthquake. This earthquake here is a 4.5. This is a 4.6. This is a 4.3. This earthquake is a 4.5. To the northwest of that bigger quake, this is a 4.6. This quake to the north, another 4.6. Now let's look at where these shocks are coming from. Where is that? On that same fault line here. On the same fault line. Originally coming out of Indonesia, over towards Taiwan, going upwards into Japan, coming up here into Kamchatka Peninsula area. All of these earthquakes here are going to migrate north over here to the Aleutian Island Fault Zone, the Aleutian Island Trench. And eventually, they're going to make their way over here to Alaska. They're going to make their way into Alaska, either over here through the peninsula, up here over towards Anchorage, the capital of Alaska, or they're going to continue up through the Aleutian Island Fault Zone, over here into the Bay of Alaska here, the Gulf of Alaska. Now, if that ends up being the case, we may soon see earthquakes over here in southeastern Alaska, or even coming down through British Columbia, Canada here. Yes, it could happen. We've talked about this before. Now, we already know that there's a large amount of seismic activity built up here in Alaska already. Any day now, literally any day, we could see another major earthquake here in Alaska. No, we don't know when it's going to happen, but it could. That's why I'm talking about this. It could happen. Over here, northeast of Anchorage. Northeast of Anchorage, right here. This is a 2.2 earthquake here. Almost directly north of Anchorage here. Right here. This is another 2.0 earthquake. Going up here to the northeast side of Denali National Park. This is a 2.1 earthquake here. Going over here towards Mount McKinley. Mount McKinley. Another 2.0 earthquake here. On the western side of Denali National Park, we have another 2.3 earthquake here. I've been wanting to show you this. There's a reason. This seismic activity has been going over here for quite some time. Why? Because this is just one part of the tectonic plate here. This is just one part of the tectonic plate here. This arc around Denali National Park and the one down here in the Gulf of Alaska. The tectonic plate is moving. The seismic energy around the tectonic plate is moving. Okay? Down here in the Gulf of Alaska here, again on this Aleutian Island arc. This is a 3.5 earthquake, 252 kilometers southeast of Chignac, Alaska, in the Gulf of Alaska. 3.5 earthquake. Seismic energy is moving up through this Gulf of Alaska. More energy could still travel here. Just giving you all a heads up. I think we deserve to know. Okay? Now, I am specifically going to talk about the Pacific Northwest tonight. I want to show you what USGS is talking about here. USGS is showing one earthquake here in Manchester, Washington. 1.1 tremor here. That's really interesting. 1.1 tremor here. Today, after going almost a week without any reports of activity at Mount Rainier, I'm going to show you a sidegram showing activity here at Mount Rainier in just a minute. But today, USGS is showing an earthquake here, Mount Rainier. This time, 4 miles deep. Yet they say this is a minus 0.6 above sea level. Is a 4 mile deep earthquake? Is a 4 mile deep earthquake above sea level? No, it's not. This again is saying that USGS is lying to us. Lying to us. This is not above sea level. This is also at the summit of Mount Rainier, but just below the summit, 4 miles deep. Over here on the southwest flank of the volcano here. Southwest flank of the volcano here. They're saying this is also a above sea level quake. Minus 0.6 microquake. This is also way deep. 3 miles deep. 3 miles deep here. Not above sea level at all. We go further to the southwest here. This is a 0.3 microquake here. This is just over 3 miles deep as well. Okay, 7 kilometers, which is over 3 miles northeast of Ashford, Washington, in the foothills of Mount Rainier. So they're trying to show us basically 4 earthquakes around Mount Rainier. Over here to the northwest. To the northwest. A 0.1 microquake here. 16 kilometers, 8 miles southeast of Carbonado, Washington. Carbonado, Washington is part of Mount Rainier. Part of Mount Rainier. There happens to be a seismogram or a seismograph located at Carbonado, Washington. Okay, a 0.1 microquake here. This is nearly 12 kilometers deep. Interesting. Very interesting. Then down here at Mount St. Helens. This one is at Mount St. Helens itself. At the summit of Mount St. Helens. They say this is a 0.4 microquake. Interesting enough. But they say it is half mile deep here. 1.7 kilometers deep. Just over a half mile deep. 0.4 microquake under Mount St. Helens here. Over here in the northwest, Mossy Rock, Washington, another 0.6 microquake. This happens to be 1 mile deep. 1 mile deep here. Now, guys, tonight, in just a few minutes, I'm going to show you seismograms from both Mount Rainier and Mount St. Helens. Yes, we're going to show you microquakes. We're going to show you minor earthquakes and both volcanoes. A lot more than what they're saying has happened here today. Now, they are showing us one more earthquake in Washington, southern Washington. This, they say, is an explosion. Let's take a look at this. They say this is an explosion here. Where's it at? This looks to be a meadow here. A meadow here. In the middle of a forest here. This is not a quarry. There are no roads here. There are no roads anywhere near here. Yes, people get to hike into this area from right here. They could come hiking into this area from way down here, but this is not an explosion. This is not an explosion here. This is the 1.6 tremor down here in southern Washington. This happens to be just about 1.5 miles north-northeast of Vennersburg, Washington. Vennersburg, Washington. Okay? It's interesting what USGS wants to get away with. Trying to call something an explosion where there's no one way in or one way out. Only way you can get there is hiking. No one's going to explode anything without roads, highways, or equipment. Incredible. Hurricane Heather says riding marmots. Yeah, okay. Heather, I'll go with that. Riding marmots. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. But Demon Catman, one of our most trusted explosive experts with EMA, is calling it spontaneous combustus carnivorous, an exploding tree. Demon Catman, thank you for this meme. I love it. I use it all the time. Spontaneous combustus carnivorous. A riding marmot. A riding marmot. How about that? That's a pretty good description of what's happened here. Oh, gosh. I love it. I just love it. But guys, here in Washington and Oregon, this is not representative of what the seismograms say here. I'm going to show you in just a couple minutes here volcanic activity at the volcanoes here in both Washington and also here in Oregon. But notice this. The United States Bullcrap Agency, the USBS, is hardly showing anything going on here. Down here in central eastern Oregon, south central Oregon, Sun River, Oregon. They're reporting a 0.8 microquake here. A 0.8 microquake. Guess what? Where's this at? This is south of the Sisters Volcanic Complex. The Sisters Volcanic Complex. I can't zoom in any closer than this. South Sisters Volcano, Central Sisters Volcano, and North Sisters Volcano. Unfortunately, the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network has only one seismograph covering all three volcanoes. I'm going to show you activity here at Sisters Complex. But south of Sisters Volcanoes, they're showing a 0.8 microquake. West-northwest of Sun River, Oregon. Sun River, Oregon. Interesting, but no cigar. They're not showing anything else going on here. Now let's close up the USGS map here. Let's show you exactly what's going on here. Okay? Let's show you the seismographs here. I'm sorry, right here. This is over at Ocean Shores, Washington. Northwestern Washington along the coastline. Now, guys, I believe the population here is around 15 or 20,000 people. Ocean Shores, Washington. Great place to fish. Great place to hang out. One of our own EMA family members hangs out here a lot. A ton. I talk to him pretty frequently. He's gone fishing here on the pier. He's taken fishing boat out to sea here. Look what's happening here at Ocean Shores. Let me show you here. Let me expand this. This seismogram covers activity from 7 p.m. last night until this afternoon. The thicker each horizontal line here is depending on the magma coming through the magma chamber beneath the surface of the earth. Yes, there is magma flowing from the Pacific Ocean over here onto the North American plate, heading for the volcanoes. Yes, we're seeing thicker and thinner lines here, showing magma going through the magma chambers here, not a volcano, but magma chambers here, flowing towards volcanoes. Okay? The thinner the magma, the less magma going through the magma chamber. The thicker the line here, more magma going through the magma channel. Now here, you see these horizontal lines here. What's happening here? As the magma flows through the magma channels, the magma is fracturing rock in the magma chamber, causing earth movement or fracturing rock. Earth movement, earthquakes. In this case, most of these are all tremor activity. They're volcanic tremors. Volcanic tremors, magma tremors here. Not in the volcano, but over here at Ocean Shores, Washington. Now, we go over here to about 8:30 p.m. last night. Actually, 9 p.m. last night on this black line here. About 9:04 p.m. last night, we have a 1.9 2.0 earthquake here on that black line. Come further down here. Now we're in the early morning hours here on this black line here. This black line here is midnight last night on the left-hand side. We come over here to the right to about 12:05, 12:06 a.m. this morning. Another 2 points of earthquake here. Another 2 points of earthquake. What else is going on here? More minor tremors and more minor earthquakes here. We go throughout the night. We have thinner lines of magma here. Thinner lines of magma. These are called pulse magma quakes. Pulse magma quakes. Again, more magma flowing through the magma chamber here towards volcanoes, causing rock fracturing, which is causing earth movement. Most of this is all tremor activity, but we've already seen some minor earthquakes here. This is ongoing. This is always ongoing. Okay? Now, as we move down through late morning here, we see more and more activity. On this red line here, just beneath that brown title page, okay? This is 11:21 a.m. this morning. 2.3, 2.4 earthquake there. At 11:22, 11:23 this morning. You see tremors and minor earthquakes here. But again, you see thinner lines and thicker lines. Magma pulse signals here. Magma pulse signals here. The magma going through the magma chamber, fracturing the rock, causing earthquakes here. You see another 2.3 earthquake here at approximately 2:30 p.m. this afternoon. 2:30 p.m. this afternoon. Okay? Ocean Shores, Washington. Now, I'm going to put this one to bed. There is another seismogram here in Oregon I want to show you here. It's called Rainier, Oregon. Rainier, Oregon. Not a volcano, but a town inside Oregon. Let's take a look at this. Late last night, actually early last night, 7 p.m. last night, at the top left. Very little activity here. Doesn't look like there's any magma flowing through the magma chambers here below this town. We have hardly any activity here at all. But look what happens late afternoon, late morning, early afternoon today. Okay? Starting about 10 a.m. That's when we start seeing earthquake activity here. Earthquake activity. Look at the tremors here. Look at all the tremors here. Then at 12:30 p.m. this afternoon, just after 12 noon, more tremors. Lots and lots of tremors here. Lots and lots of tremors. 12:01, and many minutes after that. All the way through 12:14 this afternoon. Then the activity basically stops. Basically stops all of a sudden. No more activity. Guys, that just doesn't happen. That activity just doesn't stop because of nature. Activity doesn't stop. But what happens? Men interfere here. Conniving men from the agencies interfere here. Activity doesn't just stop. Activity continues. It continues. If it might just continue for minutes or hours, it depends. But again, it doesn't just stop like they propose it to be. It doesn't do that. It doesn't work that way. Now, let's look at the volcanoes first. When I went to look at the data here, I start up at the north, just south of Canada at Mount Baker. They had no significant activity at all, none, nothing. That also doesn't happen. That means the agency doctored the seismographs, so it didn't bring up anything here, didn't show anything. The next volcano I went to was Glacier Peak. The main seismogram didn't show a thing at Glacier Peak. So I went to the HHN channel that showed magma coming into the Glacier Peak. Look at this. The main seismogram didn't show any earthquake or even seismic activity of any kind. No tremors or microquakes at all. The entire seismogram was completely spotless. Nothing at all. But the HHN channel did show this. Showed magma coming into the volcanic chamber. The waves you see are what they call very low frequency waves. Very low frequency waves is what these curvy lines are called. Very low frequency waves are caused by magma in the magma chamber of the volcano. What do we know about magma entering the volcanic magma chamber? Magma entering the volcanic chamber causes earthquakes, rock fracturing inside the volcano. So naturally, the more wavy lines here, the more earthquakes we could have. But again, they didn't show them on the main seismogram. Look at all this activity at Mount Baker, especially late morning, early afternoon. It got even busier. So them not showing any activity on the main seismogram means the agency was lying through their teeth. They doctored the seismogram. They don't want us to know what's going on here. That's typical of what they have to show here. All the time, every time I come here to Glacier Peak, they hardly have any activity to show. On the full opportunities where they actually have activity, it's very, very, very infrequent. But today we have that. Today we have this activity on the HHN channel, which is the magma chamber channel, showing activity in the magma chamber of the volcano. Let's drop down to Mount Rainier now. Let's look at Mount Rainier. This is where the oil hits the pavement. The gas hits the accelerator, or the accelerator hits the gas. Mount Rainier. Mount Rainier. This is Camp Muir. The main seismogram at Camp Muir didn't show anything at all, just like Glacier Peak, showed no activity at all. But when I came over here to the HHN channel, guess what? We saw activity. We see activity. Over here last night, 7 p.m. last night, 1900 hours, 7 p.m. last night. Look at the activity here. Look at the activity. Magma coming into the magma chamber. Then, about 10 p.m., yes, we still see these squiggly lines here, but they're not as frequent. They're not as busy. but they're still here. Showing magma coming into Mount Rainier here. Look at this. Literally all the rest of the day, the magma remains stale. The magma input into the volcano remains stable. But what do we see early this morning after 8:30 a.m. this morning on this blue line? We see a vertical line here. That's an earthquake. That is a 2.6 earthquake here at Mount Rainier on the HHN channel, which we don't normally see. Okay? We don't normally see that. Yes, we see some other tremors here as well. But this is all we see on the HHN channel. Usually the VOF waves caused by incoming magma into the volcano. Incoming magma into the volcano here. That's what's going on here. Now, let me make this smaller so I can show you the other seismograms hitting here in Washington, Oregon. Okay? I'm still going to be here at Mount Rainier. The next seismogram I'm going to show you is at Camp Sherman. Camp Muir is on the north side of Mount Rainier. Camp Sherman is on the southern side of Mount Rainier, right here. Again, the main seismogram from Camp Sherman shows nothing at all happening here at Mount Rainier at all. Just shows a blank seismogram. What do we see here? This is another channel here on this on the seismograph. This is the EZN channel, or I mean the EHZ channel. What are we seeing here? Harmonic tremors happening here at Mount Rainier. That's interesting. Harmonic tremors registering here at Camp Sherman. Usually when we see Camp Sherman, we see a lot of activity, a lot of earthquakes. Here, what do we see? Magma causing vibrations of the volcano. Magma causing vibrations of the volcano. Look at the two bottom lines here. Look at these two bottom lines here. This is different. Look at the thickness of these lines here. What does this tell you? We are constantly seeing 2.6 earthquakes here. 2.5, 2.6 earthquakes are continuously hitting here at Mount Rainier, causing harmonic tremors here. Harmonic tremors. Interesting here. Harmonic tremors again here at Mount Rainier. Now guys, this is not the only thing that's happening here at Mount Rainier. Let me show you another segment here at Mount Rainier. This might also blow your mind. Let's go over here to the west side of Mount Rainier, to St. Andrew's Rock. St. Andrew's Rock on the west side of Mount Rainier. Look at this. What are we seeing here at St. Andrew's Rock? Again, we're having harmonic tremors here. We're seeing harmonic tremors here, aren't we? lots and lots of harmonic tremors. Last night, into tonight, early this morning, then they become less frequent. They become less frequent around midnight last night. Until when? Until about 4 a.m. this morning. But after that, they're still dissipated. After that, they're still dissipated until late this morning. Let's take a closer look here. What happens after about 11:15 this morning? All of a sudden here at St. Andrews Rock, we're having 2.6, 2.7 earthquakes again, consistently, constantly hitting. Here at Mount Rainier, we're seeing harmonic tremors again. 2.8, 2.7, and 2.8 earthquakes. Constant. Rock is fracturing within Mount Rainier, but it's constant, causing vibrations inside the volcano. That's what's happening here at Mount Rainier. Incredible. You've seen it here first. Nobody else is showing this. Nobody else on YouTube or anywhere else is showing this. Let's go down to Mount St. Helens. Let's go south to Mount St. Helens, see what's going on there. Okay? Mount St. Helens. Now, this is east on Mount St. Helens. The main seismogram didn't show anything again, not anything. No tremors and no earthquakes whatsoever. The seismogram was blank. So I went over to the other channel here. The HHE channel this time, not the HHN, but the HHE, which is also showing us some magma presence here at Mount St. Helens. Look at this. Just after midnight, about 12:05, 12:06 this morning. Yes, we are seeing these VLF waves here, but we're also seeing a tremor system here. A series of tremors lasting almost a minute. Just after about 12:05 this morning. What else is going on here? All throughout the day into this morning, we have magma coming through and into the volcano here at Mount St. Helens. But on the East Dome Mount St. Helens channel, it shows us nothing at all. This is a 4-channel seismograph. This is a 4-channel seismograph here. I studied all of the channels here and just found this. Magma activity coming into Mount St. Helens here. Now, I have another seismograph here. I'm going to show it, pull up here. Okay. Still at Mount St. Helens here. This time, I'm going over to what they call September lobe. East on Mount St. Helens is on top of the summit of the volcano. The seismograph is located on the summit of the volcano, but so is September lobe. But September lobe is located on the top summit of Mount Rainier, or Mount St. Helens, I should say. But the September lobe seismograph, the machine, the seismograph, sits on spindling spider legs. The seismograph box sits on spindly legs at the summit of Mount St. Helens, just like this. Let's take a look at what September lobe shows us here. Look at this. This is the channel showing us magma coming into the magma chamber. In this case, it's at Mount St. Helens September lobe. It's called the BDF CC01 channel, showing us magma coming into the magma chamber of this volcano. Fascinating. Last night at 7 p.m. on the left-hand side, we see very little magma coming into the magma chamber here. Very little stable activity here. But what happens when we get into later on last night? More and more magma comes into the magma chamber here, right? That's what we're seeing here. Midnight, 1, 2, 3 a.m. this morning. Then it literally stops again. Literally stops. Then it gets going again about, what was it? I'm sorry. This starts off again at 2 p.m. this afternoon. We get a lot of magma coming in the magma chamber at 2 p.m. this afternoon, after 2 p.m. That's wild. That's completely wild. Now, guys, I've been studying this, as you know, for a very long time, years. I have never, ever seen the September lobe seismogram show this kind of activity. Usually the September lobe seismogram shows a lot of activity, and it continues literally all day and all night. In this case, it hardly shows this activity at all. Fascinating, guys. Very fascinating. But it doesn't stop there. Let's go over to check out the September lobe seismograph. This time, we're going to take a look at BHZ channel. BHZ channel. Look at this. Again, the top line here is 7 p.m. on the left-hand side. We have little activity until just about 11 p.m. last night. In this case, we have a 2.7, 2.8 earthquake. After about 11:04, 11:05 p.m. last night. Then we have a 2.6, 2.7 just after midnight. About 12:19 a.m. this morning. 2.6, maybe 2.7 earthquake. Interesting. This again is at a time period when the seismic activity, the magma almost stops, a very calm time period, showing hardly any activity at all, any magma at all going into the magma chamber. But we're showing 2 earthquakes right here. 2 earthquakes. Look at this. Not a speck of magma coming in here. Early this morning, going into this afternoon, nothing. What's wrong with these pictures? And this one we're showing earthquakes when nothing's happening. And down here, yes, we have some very tiny tremors here, but that's all. On the other side one, we have magma activity. Doesn't make sense. This does not make sense at all, which means something's wrong here. Something is very wrong here. This diagram right here should show us earthquake activity as the magma increases into the volcano. But in this case, we're seeing two minor earthquakes when the magma activity is very, very slow. That makes no sense at all. Not at all. Okay? This tells you the agency is not telling us the truth. They are manufacturing the seismograms. They are either deleting the evidence or erasing it. Same difference. They're either deleting or they're erasing the information. They don't want us to know what's going on. That's a simple truth. They honestly don't want us to see what's going on here. As I have said before, both Mount St. Helens and Mount Rainier were showing signs of a possible eruption here just last month. Now, they're hardly showing anything at either volcano. What's wrong with that picture? What's wrong with that picture? The solution's simple here. They are deleting information one more time. They are deleting information again and again and again. Now, today, I even looked at Mount Hood. Mount Hood usually has a lot of activity. Lots and lots of activity. Both at Timberline, which is at Government Camp on the southern lower side of Mount Hood, and at Palmer Lift, which is up on the upper south side of Mount Hood. But today, I studied all of the seismograms, literally all over Mount Hood. The only seismogram showing anything was at Timberline, Government Camp. Timberline Government Camp. And what do you see here? What do you see here, guys? Let me show you. This is the BHZ channel, which should be showing us earthquakes at Mount Rainier. Tremors, minor earthquakes, and full-blown 3.0, 4.0, 5.0, 6.0 earthquakes at Mount Hood. What are they showing us here? They're showing us a pulse magma system here. We're seeing pulse magma signals here. The thicker the lines, the more magma coming into the magma chamber. The thinner the lines, less magma coming into the magma chamber here. Yes, we are seeing some thin vertical lines here. We are seeing some tremors here caused by the magma coming into the magma chamber, fracturing rock inside the magma chamber. Guess what? Not enough earthquakes. Not enough earthquakes. Late last night here, I zoomed in here so you can see what I'm talking about. After 1:40 this morning, on that blue line, from 1:30 on, we have increased magma activity coming in here to Timberline. government camp seismograph. Okay. Before that, very little activity. Yes, we had some magma activity, but very little. All we had were a few tremors here. But here in the middle of the night, yes, we're seeing magma coming into the magma chamber. And yes, we're seeing some tremor activity here. But look at this. Look at this. The magma activity continues to come into the volcano here. Yes, we're showing some tremors here. But again, just like Mount Rainier, just exactly like Mount Rainier had today. We're seeing some harmonic tremors here at Mount Hood. Mount Hood, guys. We are seeing some tremors here. Harmonic tremors. Enough magma coming into the magma chamber here to cause the mountain to vibrate. That's what's happening here at Mount Hood. Crazy. Literally crazy. Let's go down to what they used to call Mount Bachelor. Now, Mount Bachelor is called Moon Volcano. Here at Moon Volcano, last night, after 7 p.m., yes, we're seeing some magma coming in here to the magma chamber. From 7 p.m. until just after 11:15 on the red line here. We have some magma pulse signals on the lines here, on these individual lines here, lasting 15 minutes apiece. We're seeing some magma coming into the magma chamber here. Magma pulse signals here. But what happens after 11:15 this morning, or last night, after 11:15 last night? What happens? The seismograph was shut down until this morning. The seismograph was shut down until later this morning, until the seismologists arrived. Then they turned it back on. They also played games with us. You see variations of white here, whereas there's nothing going on, which means they shut the seismograph off and then turn it back on. Then on this black line here, at 12:02 p.m. this afternoon, we have a 2.6, 2.7 earthquake here. Moon Volcano here. We have another earthquake here on a very weak red line here. A very, very weak line here, which is about 2:25 p.m. this afternoon. We have another 2.7, 2.8 earthquake. They're playing games here, guys. The Pacific Northwest Seismic Network is playing games here. They keep the seismograph shut down, not showing us anything all night long. They turn it back on, and immediately we have at least a minor earthquake. Then after 3 p.m. this afternoon, another minor earthquake. Then we see tremor activity happening because the magma is coming into the magma chamber here. Magma pulse signals are seen. Magma coming into the magma chamber here, causing earthquakes, earth movement here. Again, anytime we have magma coming to the magma chamber, there's a possibility that that magma coming into the magma chamber could cause an earthquake. Yes, that's what's happened here this afternoon. But do you think that they can show the earthquake activity all the time? Heavens no. Heavens no. They can't possibly be truthful about everything all the time. They are literally hiding activity here, even a bachelor volcano. Now, I also need to note here, for about the past 2 years, up until this year, there was absolutely no activity here at Bachelor Moon Volcano at all. They shut down the seismograph at Bachelor Volcano for 2 years. 2 years, guys. Then in January this year, they name it Moon Volcano. They discontinued the name of Bachelor, called it Moon Volcano. On the seismogram itself, the seismogram said Moon, M-O-O-N. So the agency named it Moon Volcano. Moon Volcano. Fascinating, but no cigar. Let's go over Newberry Volcano. Newberry's next. Now I am going to go over here to Newberry Crater. Newberry Crater. The main seismogram didn't show us anything at all, just like the others I showed you. But here on BHN channel, guess what? We are seeing magma coming into Newberry Crater here. Look at this intense magma here this evening. Last night. All kinds of intense magma coming into the magma chamber here at Newberry Volcano. Look at that. Very intense seismic activity happening here. Magma flowing into this volcano causing rock fracturing. Rock fracturing. But again, the other seismogram is not showing at all. Nothing. Nothing at all. But we know when there's intense magma flowing into the volcano, we have earthquakes, rock fracturing from the magma. That's what we should be showing you here. But again, just like we saw at Bachelor, just like we saw at Mount Hood, and we saw at Mount St. Helens, when they mess with the seismographs, they turn them off. Then they turn them back on. In this case, he turned it off again. You see some activity just after 11:30 a.m. this morning. Where is the black line here? Where is the black line showing 11 a.m.? Where's the black line showing 1 p.m. this afternoon? They turned the seismograph off for about 15 minutes. They turn it back on, and then turned it off again. That's why you see a lot of space here between lines here. They turn off the machine, turn it back on. They can't be doing this. It screws up the seismograph. But they did it. They did it. In this case, you're seeing magma coming into the magma chamber here at Newberry Volcano. Interesting. Very interesting. Let me make this smaller. Let me bring on the next seismograph here. This time I'm taking you to Cinder Hill. Cinder Hill. Sitchell. Sitchell Volcano. I'm going to show you two seismograms here. Two different seismograms. The first one's right here. This is the BHZ channel, the main seismogram, showing you seismic activity at the volcano. Tremors, minor earthquakes, and regular earthquakes here. Tremors 0.1 or 1.0 to 1.9, 2.0, 2.9, 3.0, 3.9, 4.0, 4.9, etc. Look what we're seeing here. Yes, we do see some tremor activity. Lots and lots of it. Magma is pouring into this volcano here. We're seeing seismic activity here. Incredible. What happens throughout the night? All of a sudden, we have tremor activity, but in this case, it's harmonic tremors. Harmonic tremors here. In other words, the magma coming into the magma chamber here was the same. The same size and the amount of magma coming into the magma chamber here, causing harmonic tremors here. Fascinating. The first harmonic tremors began when? Just after midnight, about 12:30 this morning. Look at this. The harmonic tremors continued until this morning. "10:30 this morning, they stopped. Still, we saw seismic activity. The needle was moving. The stylus is moving. Seismic activity continued because the magma is still coming into the magma chamber here. Interesting. Let's go to another one, the next one here. This seismogram is the ENZ channel here at Newberry Volcano, Newberry Crater. What do you see here? Here you see the earthquakes here, the tremors here. Here you also see these lines here, the thicker lines showing more magma, and thicker lines showing even more magma than that. Thinner lines less, thicker lines more magma here. Here you also see these vertical lines, tremor activity. Tremor activity here. But look what happens when there's less magma here. No tremors and no earthquakes at all at Newberry Sitchell Volcano. Incredible. Incredible. Literally, it shows magma just depleting itself coming into the Newberry volcano. Sorry guys, it doesn't work that way. Again, it doesn't work that way. It just doesn't stop. Here you see a little tiny bit of magma here, but that's all. Very tiny tremors almost stop. It's something. It's really something here. Then I went down to Crater Lake. Crater Lake. Again, Crater Lake, where the seismologist literally turned off the seismographs. Turn them flat off. Turn them flat off. Let's look at Crater Lake bunkhouse here. In this case, I've gone to Crater Lake bunkhouse. This morning, nothing. Nothing honestly going on. Then this afternoon, what happens? All of a sudden, we see some tremor activity. The seismologists have literally shut down these seismographs, turned down the sensitivity so far down where it's hardly recording activity at all. That's what's happening here. They shut down the sensitivity so it doesn't show any activity. That's why we're not seeing anything at these other volcanoes either. They're shutting this down. They don't want us to see the activity here because they know these volcanoes are active. At Crater Lake, they shut down Cleetwood Cove. They shut down the volcano at Cleetwood Cove on the northeast side of the volcano. On the southeast side, Mount Scott, they shut down the seismograph at Mount Scott as well. They also shut down the seismograph at Wizard Volcano, at the summit of the volcano, which is actually Wizard Island. They shut down that seismograph as well. Because heaven forbid, we know what's going on. Now, this was always called Crater Lake Volcano. This had a very different name before this. 7,000 plus years ago, this volcano was called Manas Volcano. Manas Volcano. About 7,400 some years ago, Manas Volcano erupted. Then what happened? The caldera fell down. After the volcano stopped erupting, the lava started hardening. Then the lava crater fell down inside the volcano. Fell down inside the volcano. Now we have a lake there. We had rainwater, we had snow, and we had groundwater flowing down inside the volcano where that caldera fell. Now, guys, this is the deepest lake in the United States because of that caldera falling when it did. This volcano is the deepest lake in the United States. Crater Lake, deepest alpine lake in the country. Before they shut the seismographs down, kept turning them down as they have now, or completely turning them off as they have done. Crater Lake was showing activity. Crater Lake was showing magma activity on the HHN channels. Crater Lake was also showing earthquake activity on the other 3 channels of the seismograph. Now they're hardly showing anything here at the bunkhouse. They're hardly showing anything in the bunkhouse. They basically turned the seismograph almost off. So right now what's happening? The seismograph is laboring to find activity. The volcano itself is still active. So what I'm telling you is the seismic activity here, the tiny tremor activity you see here, is actually larger activity. It's actually larger activity because the activity is trying its darndest to overcome the shutdown of the seismograph. The volcano itself is trying hard to overcome the electronic turndown of the seismograph. That's why we're seeing only tremors here. The machine itself is laboring hard to stay turned down. The activity at these volcanoes not stopped. Hasn't stopped at all. But the seismographs are being turned way down because the seismologists don't want to talk. The seismologists are being paid not to talk, not to tell us what's going on. Again, because if they had them turned up and we saw the activity, people wouldn't be coming visiting Crater Lake. They would not be wanting to live around any of the other volcanoes as well. Yeah. There are cabins and towns around these volcanoes. The politicians are wanting to stay in business. The towns around the volcanoes want to stay in business. The USGS wants to stay in business, but the politicians are telling the USGS, don't talk about anything going on. Heaven forbid they tell us anything. They don't want to show us anything. Everything is fine and dandy in space. Nothing's going on. The reason for their stupidity, guys. There is a reason for this stupidity. That's what's happening here. Hurricane Heather says she's sitting outside with her dog. That's awesome. Your dog deserves to be outside. You do too. How's your pup doing, Heather? We haven't heard much out of you telling us how your dog is doing lately. Hopefully your dog is doing well and you're doing well as well. We love our mods, guys. We love all of you here. Whether you're moderators or just part of the EMA family, we love you here. We want you here. Now, I didn't say this before I came on the air, when I first came on the air. Didn't say this. But please, share these programs with everybody you know. Share these programs with everybody you know, guys. Everybody deserves to see this information. Everybody. Your families, your extended families, your neighbors and your friends, the people you associate with on social media, and also the people you work with. They deserve to see this. Even though the agencies are doing this to us, not showing us what's going on. The danger is still there. The danger still exists. We still need to get the information out, regardless of whether the agency wants us to see it or not. We need to get the information out. I love and appreciate each and every one of you for being here. You guys are my family. You guys are my family, my devoted family members. Yes, there are things going on in our communities, our towns, our cities, and our states, and also our countries. Things are happening. But I'm here to tell you, remain positive. Remain positive. Keep your faith. Keep your faith. When everything's dropping down around you, keep your faith. That way, when stuff happens, you're already close to the Savior. You're following the commandments that the Lord has given us. Stay true to the faith. Also, if you want to help support this channel, go to our Venmo. You see at the bottom of your screen here, you're seeing our PayPal address scroll across. Go there and give us a donation. We greatly appreciate it. Our PayPal is open. Our Venmo is not open right now. I'm still trying to find out why. Venmo has not gotten back with me. Also, guys, if you want to drop us a card or letter, we don't get cards and letters very frequently at all lately. Go to our postal address, 504 Bethel Road, Box 401, Morganton, North Carolina. The zip code here is 28655. Also, if you want to leave any comments, questions, or ideas on what you'd like to see on the channel, go over to our email address, rltnspdema@gmail.com. We like to get emails as well. We love you guys. We really do. The Lord loves you and wants you close to Him. Now, I want to go over to the New Testament. This is one of my favorite scriptures I want to leave with you before closing out this program tonight. This is Paul's testimony to the Romans. The Apostle Paul's testimony to the Romans. He writes, "For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ, for it is the power of God unto salvation to every man that believeth, to the Jew first and also to the Greek." Every man around the world, every man and woman around the world. The gospel of Jesus Christ is here on the earth today. Let's have and find our own testimony of Jesus Christ. Let's find our testimony of Jesus Christ, the Son of the living God. I want you to know I do have a strong and fervent testimony of the gospel of Jesus Christ. He lives. He lives who once was dead. He lives, my everlasting head. He's our Redeemer. He's our King. He's our Deliverer. He is a man that sacrificed his life for each one of us, keeping us from being in the grave forever, but resurrecting and living again. May God bless you with an everlasting testimony of Jesus Christ. I have that testimony. I hope you also do. May God bless you and keep you even in the palms of His hands. Brothers and sisters, each one of you, I love you very much, more than anything. God loves you. We love you, and ask the Lord to bless you. We've not heard from Don Patoka in over a week. I'm going to call him tonight, make sure he's still okay. Let's pray for everybody in our EMA family. Pray for our brothers and sisters. Pray for our children and our grandchildren. Pray for our friends and relatives everywhere. God needs each one of us. Each one of us need our Heavenly Father as well and need His blessings. May God bless you. May God bless you with everything you do, temporally and physically. May He bless you. Guys, if anything else happens tonight or in the morning, we'll be back on the air to tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available. Till then, have a good day. Have a good night. We will be back on the air tomorrow afternoon, sometime between 4 and 5 p.m. Friday night, with another episode of the Emergency Management Associates. Preparedness. Emergency Management Associates Preparedness Fridays. Have a good night, guys. God bless you. God be with you until we meet again. We hope you have a good night and better tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Good night. See you soon. Have fun.
Here at Emergency Management Associates, we're dedicated and true, bringing you the essential knowledge, helping you see things through. From disaster preparedness to navigating recovery's embrace, we're here to guide you in every unpredictable time and place. We break down the complex, make it easy to grasp and absorb, sharing strategies for safety, the vital lessons you can't afford to hoard. So thank you for watching, and thank you so much for your sub. You're a key part of our growing family, a member of our knowledge club. With every like, every share, and every comment you send our way, our critical message spreads further, helping more people every single day. Together we're stronger and more prepared. That's the truth we all abide. You help us build resilience with nowhere for uncertainty to hide. Your engagement truly inspires us. Your feedback acts as a guiding light, helping us continually grow and making our channel's future bright. We're always learning, always striving to be better, bring you the most up-to-date information, no matter the weather. Emergency Management Associates is here for you now and forever, it's true. Keep watching, keep learning, because we truly appreciate all that you do. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. We love you very much.